young boys created a rescue trampoline. Faster run out in under 2 hours. UFC thought was unsealable.
A relay of dogs will lead blind runners across the finish line. Nicolas lost the French Open, but then his 7-year-old son ran onto the court to give his dad a big hug.
And her sister, heroes for many little girls out there.
I want to thank my amazing mom. She's my hero.
Exactly what I was.
When you are free to be you, it is the best feeling in the world.
He's the Sully burger of pizza.
My family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans.
No, deep down what's right and what's needed.
I'm gonna fight.
Who said that again? Nobody.
Here it comes.
Never been done in competition.
Use your heart, your courage and vision to heal, to empathize, to connect. Because living life is something bigger than yourself, is a hero's journey.
Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Wisner and I am so excited that you're watching right now. We have a very exciting show coming up. We have the Nikki Riojas, who's going to be our Power Up hero today. So if you know who Nikki is, I need you to get into the chat and I need you to put some amazing comments and some amazing affirmations for having Nikki here with us today. I'm Lisa Wisner, the host of Power Up Hero. This is a show all about being the hero of your story. Power Up Hero is all about living a powered up life. Because let's face it, living your best life and juggling a busy workload can be close to impossible. Sometimes it feels like you have to pull superpowers from who knows where. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about how do you pull superpowers from who knows where to make things happen and get all the things you want done and even more than people can imagine in our community. Now, our world needs heroes today more than ever before. I'm sure I'm literally feel like I'm preaching to the choir every time I say this, because with the social unrest we've had, with our pandemic that we've experienced, this year has really taught us how to be resilient and how to be mentally tough. Being a Power Up hero is all about being a strong, celebrated leader in our community. And this show is all about the stories behind nominated Power Up heroes. You know, our mission here at Power Up is simple. It's providing opportunities where everyone rises up. And our job is to make sure that you know what opportunities are available, but second, that you realize that you are already amazing and you just have to live through that. You have to be your best version. And the only way you can do that sometimes is by hearing other people's stories and hearing how they overcame challenges to become heroes in their lives. Our Power Up heroes are individuals who are inspiring and they offer themselves selflessly and they strengthen the community through the work that they do. They are really what we call agents of change who positively benefit others. And they may not even know that they're doing this, but they're just working and then making amazing things happen in our community. For today's show, I wanted to tell you, if you haven't noticed, a movement is upon us. It's a movement that is attracting the local consumer to the people doing business in the cities where they live. Right here in Corpus Christi, we call it Shop Local. Local entrepreneurs here in our community range from growers, from makers, brewers, service providers, small-scale resellers, spas, bakeries, farmers market vendors, the list goes on and on. These are local entrepreneurs, freelancers, our neighbors, our families, our friends. And these are people who've literally taken the leap, follow their passions, and they are enriching our community with precious gifts. Today's Power Up Heroes reach is amazing. And it's really within the movement of Shop Local. Oh my goodness. My son just came in to debut. Hi. Do you want to say hi to my friends? No? Okay. We have a visitor today. Sorry about that. So today's Power Up hero is none other than Nikki Riojas. Nikki has been an advocate for women entrepreneurs throughout her career. Starting her first company at 22 years old, she knows the challenges and successes of building a small business from the ground up and is passionate about finding and nurturing relationships within her community. Nikki is the owner of Made in Corpus Christi, a venture that curates products, designs, and produces work in our city. And she's also the president and founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Society of Corpus Christi, which is a nonprofit organization helping local women to become amazing business owners. She's an adjunct graphic design faculty member at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. Our marketing consultant, Sakai, I am alive, and you are over here. What would you like? Tell my friends what you want. What do you want? What do you want? Sorry, y'all. This is what happens when you go live on an unexpected day. And so just with that, Nikki, I know you're a mom, a wife, a business owner. You get it. I'm just going to bring you in so we can just talk about this momhood, I guess. He literally just brought the momhood into it. Welcome to the show, Nikki.
Oh, thank you for having me. I know this all too well.
I mean,
Very
you hear the door slam? He like came in like gangbusters, like I'm in your office.
Oh, yeah. They know. They have this sense. Mm-hmm.
Let me close the door. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Okay, so hopefully that was a little bit of entertainment for y'all who are watching right now. But that was my son Sakai, and he did exactly what I needed him to do, which was to show us how crazy it is sometimes when you're trying to juggle many things, right? So Nikki, first, before we move on, I just want to tell you I'm just so excited to be interviewing you. We were supposed to be doing this interview yesterday. Time was blocked. Everyone's out of the house, but we decided, you know what, we'll just reschedule it and have it today. And for me personally, I just want to thank you so much for being such a great advocate in our community. And you being nominated as a Power Up hero for me speaks volumes. When I think of heroes, I think of people like you, you know? When I see you wearing a cape, and I see that cape with like all the logos of every woman who ever wanted to have a business just like sewn on there like patchwork. So I just want to congratulate you, Nikki, and I want to congratulate you for being our Power Up hero of small business.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really an honor. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. I was trying to get through your bio without like, there was all this stuff going on in here. So, and I kind of didn't read the entirety of your bio. So in addition to you being an advocate for small business and women entrepreneurship here in our community, you're a graphic design faculty member at A&M Corpus Christi. You're a marketing consultant for the Small Business Development Center. You're the board member for the American Advertising Federation of Corpus Christi. And on and on and on and on, right? It's like little magic that goes on in your life. And so just tell us, Nikki, as a Power Up hero of small business, what do you do for a living?
Whew, I do a lot of things, but right now I started a company called Made in Corpus Christi almost 2 years ago to really celebrate makers and artists and designers here in the community. And it started with Christmas ornaments actually 2 years ago, and it's just exploded into this amazing business that we just love. You know, I love every day going to work and working on things with all these community people.
I love it. And so we have Chris. So we know Christopher Butler. Hey, what's up, Chris? Thanks for watching. Chris is the co-founder of TEDx Colt Park. Welcome to the show, Chris. Chris says Nikki's shop does a super job. She's so easy to work with, and I agree. And he also says thank you so much for doing this show. We really do appreciate you, Nikki. I think I've worked with you in many different projects here in our community, and every time it just seems to be so easy. It's almost like even when you talk, when I come visit you, I feel calmer when I walk out. Your voice, I'm sure even my audience is probably like, wow, she has this like meditation voice. You're just so calm, so relaxed. So I want to know, like, how did you get started? Tell us about Nikki in the early careers. I think I heard like you started your first business at 22. Tell us about that. How did you get to where you're at now? Tell us the journey of Nikki Riojas.
Oh, it feels like it's been forever now, right?
Yeah.
But I started in graphic design in a creative field. I've always been drawn to that. But gosh, I think it was my first design job right after college, I ended up working with a couple of other girls about the same age as I was. And we decided we were going to start a business. We wanted to be able to do our own thing. And it was, well, you would know because of all your technology background. But when we started, we decided we were going to create a website. We were going to learn how to do all of this, sell online, and make the product. So I took care of all the design and the creative side of things and a lot of the marketing. And my business partner did all of the tech things. So she built the website. And this was long before Squarespace and Shopify and all those easy platforms. You know, when we would get orders, they would come in and then we would have a big spreadsheet of everyone's contact information, all of their credit card numbers, and we'd call it in on the phone.
Well, okay, so what year is this? Sorry, like
this 2002.
2002, which is not so far away. I guess it's like when the millennium happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like forever ago now.
What was the name of it?
The first business I had was Soul Chicks Design. So we were both blondes and we liked to be outside in the sun, I guess. I don't really understand even now why we called it that. But we had, then this was
like your soul, like Soul Chicks.
But it was SOL, like the sun.
Like
yes.
Soul. Okay, got it.
Yes. So I know I probably should have shown the logo or spelled it out, but we started out just the two of us. We handmade everything. So when American Idol got really big, everybody wore the painted jeans and all of those really detailed things. Well, that's what I did. So I hand painted jeans with all these designs. My business partner started doing painted glassware. So she would paint martini glasses and wine glasses. And we ended up, we had 2 or 3 things that we really focused on, but then we started opening it up. And this might sound familiar. So we were getting makers and artists around the country in England and Canada. We had somebody, I think maybe in Australia, and we would have them drop ship for us. So we had about 20 to 30 makers, all women-owned businesses that we brought into the site over the course of maybe 2 years, I think. And, you know, we taught ourselves online marketing. We taught ourselves, we connected with a publicist. So she started getting us into magazines. We would fly out to LA for events. We had our products in gift bag market. Like that was our niche, was gift bag marketing for celebrities.
What? Okay, so like that's a leap. I'm over here painting jeans and then now I'm doing celebrity gift bags. What?
Yep. So we would send like custom glassware. We'd send custom jeans. Like I'd send it to Jessica Simpson or Cameron Diaz or all of it. You know, it was just so random. Yeah. So that's where we learned like everything about business. Is we just started, you know, we had, each of us had an area of focus that we really liked. And so we just built on that. But, you know, at 22, we didn't have anything else we had full-time jobs, I should say that. So we were never just doing this full-time, which we probably could have. But we worked full-time jobs. We would come home, we'd paint, we'd market, we'd do everything. So I lived in a condo and I would go to my kitchen table, I would paint everything and we had to cure it in the oven. So I'd cook it in the oven and then I'd literally run to my couch, sleep for 2 hours, get up because I worked an hour away. And then I would drive to Omaha from Lincoln because I'm from Nebraska.
Oh my God.
Go work all day, come back and do the same thing. And that just worked. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but that's how it ended up working for a long time.
Oh my gosh. And so then do you still have that business?
No, I ended up, I bought my partner out a few years after that and I kept it running for a while, but I started focusing more on, like, I kept building my career in marketing and the design fields and all of that. So I ended up scaling back Soul Chicks. And then I was working for other corporations or other businesses for a long time while we were doing that. What's that?
You get a degree in marketing?
No, I never actually even took a marketing class. But I ended up working my way into marketing through design. So I really loved sales. I loved the customer aspect. So I'd always worked retail, even when I was in college. And so I loved that part of it. And so it just worked out well because I was always asking questions. I was always going, I wanted to learn from the vice presidents and the finance people and all this. And it had nothing to do with graphic design and designing a brochure or a poster, but it really kind of did because I wanted to know the business from the inside out.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time learning about how to promote, how to, reach out to clients, how to sell. And I went from a bedding manufacturer to a technology company, and I was graphic designer there. Then I moved over to a boutique kind of ad agency. So I was a salesperson there and did some creative direction. Then I went and ran a marketing department at a small college in Nebraska for a couple of years and started teaching graphic design there as well. So I was doing both things. And then actually the college.
You're taking over. This is still in Nebraska.
This is all in Nebraska. And then my husband got a job he wasn't my husband then. He ended up moving to Texas, we thought it was Texas, but it ended up being Louisiana. So I had left the college and was working for a healthcare market research firm. So I ended up running the marketing department there of about 15. And so I was traveling. We had offices in Seattle and California and Canada. Then I was in Louisiana because I ended up moving there. So I was traveling all the time.
Yeah.
And after we got married and I had our son, I thought I needed to slow down a little bit. So I ended up slowing way down. Yeah.
Were you still painting at this point? Because I think
we ended up doing more. What's that?
Your business changed? The products changed?
It really ended up being more just custom glassware. That's what we focused the most on. That's where we had the most interest from people, because that kind of ebbed and flowed as far as what was in style or trends. So probably in 5 years, we didn't really do as much with that. Okay. And then I did a lot of just custom work. So people would do weddings, or we had a lot of corporate events. So they would order like 100 or 200 glasses, people's names on it and all that. So we hand painted everything. And then I just kind of got burned out. So I didn't do too much there when we moved to Louisiana. And then we were there for a couple of years. Then we moved over to Corpus. So that's when I ended up leaving my corporate job, and I had started another business, which was 13 and Market.
Okay, that's how I know you. That's when I started I started knowing you from 13 and Market.
Yeah. And, so that was a home decor store.
Yeah. So I guess I can kind of bring it now full circle to how I met Nikki. Okay. So before I do that, man, everyone in the chat is so excited that you're here. So thanks for all the chat love, everybody. Keep it coming. We're really excited to unpack Nikki, and this is just the beginning. So I met Nikki through the most unlikely circumstances. So I started a co-working space with a few friends of mine. So we were 4 of us, and we just went all in and decided we were going to start a co-working space because that's what we wanted, right? So we needed a co-working space where people could come together and build business together and capitalize on each other's strengths, right? So Nikki's saying she's into marketing, and I pretend I know what I'm doing when I'm doing marketing, but I just stop pretending heavily. And so there's just a lot of work that people do, and imagine if we could just do it together, right? So a co-working space started, and then somebody mentioned to me that Nikki was this amazing businesswoman. I needed to know who she was, and I was like, well, I need her number. And so I don't know if you know this, Nikki, but we're all trying to get your number. And so, and then at the same time, I think you were starting an organization. So you had 13 and Market, which you were running, right? And I don't even think, did you have a location at that point? Because I think that's when your husband's name is Andrew, right?
Yes.
So Andrew, even back up even further. You and Andrew went in on purchasing a building downtown. Not downtown, but close to downtown, right?
Outside, yeah, outside of downtown.
Yeah, so you guys bought a building that needed to be fixed up, right? I mean, I know where you bought the building, and I know there was work to be done on it. You know that space. And I think there was construction on that street for 3 years. It felt like forever there was construction.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. And then so that's when I met you, when you had 13 and Market. You were running remotely. Weren't you running it from your house? You were freelancing it?
Yeah, it was all online. So I started that
as a store, an online store?
Yes.
Okay. So so do you curate the items and then have them shipped to your house, or do you drop ship to people? How do you do that?
So when I had the shop, and honestly, it just started because we were renovating our house when we moved here, and I still had my wholesale accounts from when I had Soul Chicks.
Yeah.
And I started posting things on Instagram, and everyone was always asking me where I was getting things. I'm like, well, I should probably just start a business, right? And start selling it. Of course. So that's really, yeah. I would have a semi truck drive down my street, and pallets of product would be delivered, because it was the height of Instagram. So it was before all the algorithm changes. It was before everything changed. So people, you would post a picture of a wooden tray, and you would get 50 orders for it just because they saw it on Instagram.
And then you
so I was, I packaged and shipped. I hired an intern from the university, Ashley, and so she worked for me. She would come to my house, and she would just pack up orders all day long. And the postman would come to the door, and we would just have boxes, inside, outside, covered the porch. And they just take all the stuff away every day. That was our life for a while.
Goodness. Okay, so that's fun, right? So are you still running it out of your house? Well, you're running it.
Closed it.
Right?
I closed 13 and Market last year, actually, because Made in Corpus got so big. I couldn't handle both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I had for only about 3 years.
So let's go to now. Before even Made in Corpus Christi, which we're gonna get to, right? So you have 13 and Market. These, I guess, trailers are coming delivering product to your house. UPS mail guys picking up product. You have this at-home business going, right? COVID-friendly business now. So let's just think through what sparked you to start the organization West. And actually, before you answer that question, I have a really short video about women in small business, and maybe after you watch this video, you can help us explain what small business is like and why you felt like you needed to start West. Okay, we'll be right back, everyone.
It's done. My laptop is handed in. My phone is handed in. I've officially quit.
I'm an entrepreneur. I could do this.
Welcome to Sweet Soul Kitchen.
First customer.
We're up and running.
I have about 124 orders to do.
It's extremely stressful.
Frustrating.
You can see the line behind me.
It can be done. I'm living proof it can be done.
I get to do it with people that I love.
We had a lot of friends and family come out and help us out.
Every day is a good day.
It takes real guts to run businesses through the generations.
I just want to just say a big thank you to Google, because they always make these really amazing videos celebrating heroes in many different ways. Today, we're joined by our PowerUp hero of small business, and we're so excited to introduce you. If you've never met this amazing woman, I'm excited to introduce you to her. Her name is Nikki Riojas, and she is an amazing woman here in our community in Corpus Christi, and I would even dare to say that she has been the catalyst in small business, in Shop Local, in the local movement here in Corpus Christi. She has been the catalyst of making that happen and making that movement move forward in our community. So, Nikki, welcome back.
Thank you.
So
I love that video.
A little break, I was asking you, what made you start the organization West, which stands for Women Entrepreneurs, right?
Yep, Women Entrepreneurs Society.
Society, yeah, Women Entrepreneurs Society here in Corpus Christi. What made you start that organization?
Even just watching that little video, the feeling that I get from watching people start businesses and see how amazing people can do if given the tools to be successful, honestly, that's the reason. That, and when I moved here, I did not know anyone other than on Instagram. And I kept asking people if they were all connected, all of these other small business owners that I saw online and on social media, and they were amazing, the work that they were doing. And I was so surprised every time I would find a new account, and they knew each other, but they didn't really know each other. They weren't friends in real life. And so I asked if people wanted to change that. That was essentially how it got started. It was, I said, let's all get together and let's meet. So we started with about 8 or 10 women. We got together and we started meeting monthly. And gosh, it was right before Hurricane Harvey. So we had a couple of months where we couldn't meet. But that following year, we decided, or maybe the December after that, we decided we would try a market, an in-person holiday market. And that was the first time that anyone had heard of West, because we hadn't promoted it. It wasn't a real event or a real organization yet.
Yeah.
It was
and
just.
And I'm coming in because I have some pictures that I wanted to share. I have kind of perused your website, and as you're talking, I want people to just get a sense of what West is. So I just have a small graphic to just kind of show people what West is. But keep tell us about the market, because I think that's when you guys just blew up, pretty much.
Yes, it was. So if you think about my background in marketing, I didn't want to put anything out there unless it looked really professional and put together and we looked like a real deal. And that was when we had started talking. There were probably 20 or 30 of us at that point in all different industries. And we thought, okay, we'll do this market. I think we had 15 or 20 different vendors and business owners to get together. And it was in Milestone. So that's my husband's shop. It was right before, he had literally just pulled everything down to the studs. It was nothing but a warehouse. So for this market, the first time anyone saw it, we started posting the event on Facebook. And the day that it happened, the construction went up in front of our building. It was the first freezing cold day of, it was torrential rains, I think, for like maybe the couple hours before that. So the streets were flooded. It was freezing cold. It was in a warehouse in a very transitional neighborhood, if we want to be polite about that. And it had started getting dark really early. So we were asking essentially a bunch of strangers to show up at a warehouse and shop from us. If you looked on Google Maps and you tried to figure out where it was, nobody was probably going to that place at night. Yeah. And the doors just kept opening as soon as we started. And there were over 150 people that showed up at that event that night. Yeah. And a lot of them were women entrepreneurs who wanted to know how to get into our secret club, which was not a secret club. It just hadn't been anything.
Well, Nikki,
and it was
like your club was underground. Like everybody, I remember when we were joining. I'm in West. I didn't know you were in West. Oh, I'm going to the meeting. I'm going to the meeting. Like it was just like this thing. Like, we're just like, yeah, I'm in it. Who's in it? It's amazing.
It was
thinking like you must have known what you were doing because it was genius. It was just genius.
It all kind of it came together well. We had a lot of people who were really excited about meeting people in person, getting together, sharing ideas. It was much more collaborative than people had probably been in the past. But that's kind of my philosophy: is we all get better together. So why not? It's not like people were sharing industry secrets with, if there was a clothing shop and they were talking about where they're buying their purchase. They weren't doing that with somebody right next to them. You got to select what you wanted to share, but you also got connected with other people who you could share clients with and who you could promote together with, or have, like Susie over at Jewel's Clothing would have pop-ups. And so she would bring people in and, people would sell in her shop. And, so it was cross-promoting and it was getting people's names out there. And it's really grown. We have over 100 members now. At one point, I think we had almost 200 members and 50 different industries. We have people who have just thought about starting a business. So you don't even have to have a business to be a part of it, just different tiers. And then we have people who have been in business for 20 or 30 years. So it's a nice collaborative environment. It's been really hard with COVID this year, of course, because we normally have monthly in-person socials. We have quarterly meetings. We get everybody together and have presenters. So we've had to switch to do that online. Also, being respectful of the fact that most of these women are business owners or had been, unless something had happened to their businesses. And so we've been kind of fighting for our lives, right? So we haven't been saying, hey, do you want to come to this meeting or do you want to jump on a Zoom call? Yeah. So it's been a little bit, it hasn't been as consistent as it has in the past, but we'll do it again, when it's safe to do that in person. Otherwise, we'll continue to have our online events when we can as well.
Yeah. And I think for me personally, that's when I realized how strong community is, like in terms of coming together, right? You may have your own idea, but doing it yourself actually you're going to go fast, yeah, because you get to make the decision, but you're not going to go far because it really just takes one other person to hear, and then they hear from somebody else. It's like that ripple effect you're looking for. And I just remember feeling that that's what West was, because I think now you've reached a point where you publish a catalog, right, of small businesses that are owned, local businesses that are owned by women in the community.
Yes, we did our first printed booklet last year, and we're doing a virtual booklet to be put out in the next couple of weeks, right before Small Business Saturday. But my hope is that by next year, we'll be able to print that again.
Yeah, and it looks really good. And I mean, anytime you go to pick up your mail or anywhere you go, the booklet is there. So, and I think the beauty about that is that it's together marketing, right? So like, it's not like you're publishing these for free. As members of the organization, we pay into that, right? So we pay to have our name in there, but the cost is it's like really nothing because we all come together and it ends up being this really put together document that we couldn't have done on our own. And I think that's the beauty of what we've been able to do lately. So just moving in on that thread, we're calling you the PowerUp hero of small business. And, just kind of thinking through, when you think of a superhero, right? I always think superheroes have superpowers. That's why they're superheroes. Superman flies, and everyone else does everything else. Just in the space that you're at in your life where you're seeing how everything's coming together, I just feel like you have this foresight. You may not realize it, but I feel like you see things that other people aren't seeing. Like, it's like this perspective. It's amazing. What do you think your superpower is?
Oh gosh. I think if there is a superpower, a power of connection is something that I think is really something very strong and something that I believe very strongly in, because you can't do anything by yourself. And the ability to connect people with one another in different industries or different, if someone has a need and someone who doesn't, who's able to help serve that person, really being able to connect people in the community, pretty much anywhere I go, that's usually what I'm looking for. And that probably helps with what appears to be foresight, is just trying to figure out what people need and how I can help put them together with someone who can do that.
I love it. And there's a saying, and I'm obviously paraphrasing, I don't even remember who said it, but it literally had to do with the fact that if you want to become successful, then you have to be willing to help everyone else around you be successful before you, right? So I don't even know how to say it like perfect. I don't know if you know the quote, but there's a quote that actually says that. And I feel like that's what you're doing. Like, I feel like even when I come to you to work for me, I feel like that's it, Nikki? That's all it is. And you've done so much work behind the scenes, I know, and I feel like you're just you're a giver, you serve, you just serve so well in our community. And I'm just grateful that you exist in our community. I know that there's been many opportunities for me to work with you, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to work with you. So that superpower that you have of connection is a real one. It's so cool. I can see it. I can see you connecting people together. It's awesome. It's awesome. Which coincidentally was the theme of TEDxCo Park this year, which you were a big sponsor of. And most importantly, your business, which I keep trying not to talk about because it's the big thing now, called Made in Corpus Christi. And so we'll just take a little break because you have this most amazing video that describes what Made in Corpus Christi is. And Nikki, if you don't mind, I want to play that video for everybody, and then we'll unpack what Made in Corpus Christi is all about. All right? So we'll be right back, everybody.
My name is Nikki Riojas, and my company is Made in Corpus Christi. I had been working with a lot of different creatives through my company, 13 to Market, local creatives. And the more that I started seeing the talent level in this town and the more interest I started seeing from people who are coming in to the shop or to any of our pop-ups that we did, wanting Corpus Christi items, the more I thought this had some legs. So I started researching, trying to find a couple of people that we could work with that could help tell the Corpus Christi story from the perspectives of designers, creatives, and people who live here. I'd like people to know that it is a venture from the heart. Everything that is being done with the organization, with the company, is really geared toward promoting local artists, promoting creatives, getting the word out that Corpus Christi is really a pretty cool place to be. There's so much talent, so much potential in this area that if we are able to tap into that and bring it together and collectively have something that we can all share in and be a part of, I think that just makes for a stronger community. I think one of the main things that I found in building this company is the amount of talent level is very high, but the amount of creative influences from these artists is very broad. So it's fun to be able to see designers from one area of town and one kind of genre really meld with someone from a completely different part of the creative process, that all collectively come together and work beautifully. And separately, they do their own thing too. You would never see them together in any other instance in something like this. At the end of the day, after all of the hard work and the collaborations and getting all the creatives together, I think being able to see a brand develop that celebrates a city that needed a little bit of confidence is something that I think is immeasurable. Being able to be a part of that is really fulfilling and very great.
I love that video. How does it make you feel to watch it?
I haven't watched it probably in a year or so. So it's fun. Yeah. I mean, it's exciting to be able to bring all of these people together, and even thinking about it again, the amount of artists and makers and creatives that we've added since that time. Gosh, we've added maybe like 15 or 20 new ones since then. So it's really fun to see that evolution.
It's crazy. So, of course, today I just had to come representing my Corpus shirt, which, by the way, I had this shirt from I don't know if it's a year ago, but I get so many compliments. I wore this shirt today. I had to go get my car inspected. And I wore this shirt, and then everybody where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get it? Let us know it's a hidden place I got it. You know what I mean?
I need to give you cards. Yeah.
Really cool. So do you have, this graphic itself, right? I saw it in the mug, and there's just all the different ways. So you work with a graphic designer who created this I guess, piece of art, right? That I'm wearing.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I hire individual graphic designers to do pieces for me. And then I use those on a variety of different pieces. So those have pretty long shelf lives. I mean, we're still using that logo. In fact, we did the Corpus Christi wallpaper, wrapping paper, and we've got that logo on it. So we'll just keep using them in different ways and sharing them as long as people want to keep buying them. That's our first one, and that is definitely our most popular, I think, overall.
Well, I know you have it in gold now, metallic, there's all these things, but I was perusing your website, and I just kind of want to show people just, you not only do you have these items separate, but you also make kits, right, where you bring them together. And then you work with local people to actually advertise, I guess, show the clothing that they're wearing. And I feel like it's like Corpus Christi pride, Look at this. I mean, these beautiful people that I know these are people I know, and I meet them in the neighborhoods, and in all the events we go to, and you see their faces, you're like, it's so real. And then that's me right there. Sorry. I had to figure out a way where I put myself in there. But the point here is that there's something going on with Made in Corpus Christi, because when I found out about Made in Corpus Christi, it was weird. We were having an event, and we had people coming in from out of town. And I had seen some Instagram posts about Made in Corpus, and I thought, oh, that's cool. What is that, But when that event was happening, thank you so much for having your store, because there was no way we were going to show Corpus Christi pride if we wouldn't have come and shopped at your store and made gift bags,
We appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, it was perfect. And it was almost like, how much is it? No, we just did. You know, it was amazing. And it wasn't even like, I'm not going to say like we didn't care about our budget, but the point is it wasn't like crazy amount of money. And I have a few items. So you have candles that somebody makes, right?
Yep.
So I have a candle that's our Cole Park candle that we did for meeting in for TEDx Cole Park. You helped the League of Women Voters when we did our women's right to vote 100th anniversary, the centennial celebration. We got hats, we got masks. And so tell me a little bit about this movement that you have now through Made in Corpus Christi, because Made in Corpus Christi is a place where you can go buy, instead of the candle person having their own store and trying to sell their candles on their own, they can come and on consignment, right? Have them in your store. And is that what you do? Do you actually buy them from them, or do you have them on consignment?
Yeah, when I started the store, the thought was that it would be more consignment based, and it would be more fine art. And what came about, and I just kind of followed what the customers wanted, was if it didn't say Corpus Christi on it, it probably was going to sit on my shelf for a lot longer. It was really, people wanted something that was focused on Corpus, not to say that the fine art and all of that wasn't appreciated. It just wasn't what people were wanting. And a lot of it was coming from people that were out of town that were visiting, but the majority of our customer base are people that live here in the city, which I think is really amazing. If they want to show their pride, they love the designs. The designers that we're working with are higher end designers that just create, a feeling and a mood and something that's, you're not going to get from your traditional, tourist type of spot, which it's fantastic that they're there, but that's not really where we wanted to be with our business. And so people, that's really what they wanted to do. And so I built the business around finding people to fill needs that I had in the store. And then I hire and I purchase everything outright from them, so that we then sell them. So I buy wholesale and then we buy retail, but then that gives me control over our brand.
Yeah.
So we can say we want the label to look like this. Well, we make the labels in-house because of Milestones. And we do all the engraving and we do a lot of the production. So when we bring in new artists and makers, that is usually a stipulation, not always, but a lot of times, is can we co-brand everything? Can we put our look to it, but make sure that all of your information is there, because we're not hiding who is doing anything. We are celebrating it. But we do have a certain aesthetic and a certain feel, and that carries through, from beginning to end in our brand. So that's a little bit different than what I had initially anticipated it being, but that's where we're at now. And it's working. It's working pretty well.
Yeah. There's a really popular show on Netflix right now, and I'm not going to say the name of the show because some people may not like the fact that I say the word, even though it's not spelled like it sounds. Something Creek, Creek. And there's a store there, and do you know what I'm talking about?
I love that show.
First of all, I don't know how many tears I cried at the end of the show, at the end of the season, but because it's over, right? But anyway, the point is, if you do watch that show, Creek, there's a store in there that David Rose creates, and it makes me think of you, right? Is that kind of like the same?
I've heard that. That's why I started watching the show, actually, because who was it? Natalie over at Rebel Toad Brewery downtown. She and I were talking about, we did a collaboration on some beer soap. And so she had sent me a message and she said, have you seen the show? You've got to watch it. The shop reminds me of your store. And when I started watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. We had to watch more of this. So my husband and I got hooked on it. But.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, literally, as soon as he opened his store, of course, before he opens his store, you're like, what is he talking about? And then he opens the store and you're watching it, and I'm thinking, this is made in Corpus Christi, right? The labels, everything was just perfect. So one of the other things that I just want to congratulate you on is, we talked about you being the PowerUp hero of small business, and your superpower is connection. One of the things that you do is, you're not just all about, let's just make money, let's make this business that's making all this money for our business owners. You partner with organizations that are helping in our community. So nonprofit organizations that are looking for opportunities to provide merchandise to their fans. And you make it so simple for them. Can you walk me through that process? What does that look like? How did you get started with that? Tell me how you got into that.
Sure. So when COVID hit, one of the things that we were concerned about really was the fact that we had to shut our doors. One of the things that was good about it was that we were 100% online to begin with. So we literally closed the doors to people, to customers face to face, and we could direct them to the website. So everything in our store was also available already on our website.
Yeah.
And so we were able to start turning out orders the very next day. One of the things that we noticed here, and especially in Corpus, is just the community is really, they do a really good job of supporting the small business community here. And I had already worked with or had partnered with the Visit Corpus Christi group in some capacity at some point. But one of the Meredith over there, as the vice president, had called and said, do you want, we'd like to do something with you. We'd like to see if you could partner with us and create a line of merchandise to help fund this, it's not a scholarship, I can't think of the word of it, but they were donations that they were giving back to people who had been affected adversely by the pandemic in the hospitality industry. So you think about the hotels and the restaurants and all of these places that had to either be cut or furloughed or
fund that people could apply for support, right? Like, hey, I need.
Yes, so they could apply if they were, like a bartender or wait staff. They could submit their information, and then they would get donations from other areas, but specifically to ours, we created a line of merchandise that 50% of the proceeds went and was donated to that fund. So we worked with a local designer, Kylie Justice. She created the tees that everybody was buying. I mean, we sold hundreds of these that said, "We ride this wave together." So that was
it was like the whole city was painted. We ride this
my gosh,
together. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it all just came together really quickly and really well. They provided that term, that quote to us, and I thought this has to be it. This is going to be the shirt. So we actually had two designs. One was focused more specifically on Corpus Christi small business, and then that was the Ride This Wave campaign. But we had it on hats and T-shirts and tumblers and keychains and magnets and you name it. We put it on there, and then at the end, we would start. I think it was every week. We just calculate what we had and send it over. So we wanted to make sure that we could help the community in that way, and then we kept our doors open, well, virtually open. Because Milestones was producing everything. We had Elevated Screen Printing was doing all of our screen printing for the T-shirts and the embroidering of the hats. So we were trying to keep as many small businesses working as we could throughout that time, and that really helped. So they did a tremendous job helping promote and working with us. We're very thankful that they were able to do that with us.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, and then we've moved on since then.
It's a no-brainer. It's like, why wouldn't I want to buy from Made in Corpus Christi? Because buying from you is like buying from everybody in the community. I feel like one-stop shop. But go ahead, tell me about others that you now moved into supporting.
Yeah, so we did, for the Women's Centennial voting, we did that. So thanks to you and Dr. Amy, and we did that line of merchandise. And then what else did we do? We did another one just recently. And then we did the TEDx. We worked with you on producing a few items there, which is a little bit different. But, we really like being able to give back when we can, but also just help, like I said, just help keep those wheels turning, because it's not over. We know that it's not over. We know that there's still a lot of time that we're going to have to be creative in how we're getting, sales, and how, without having a lot of in-person markets or any in-person markets, how a lot of these other vendors are having to kind of scramble to see how they can get more sales, especially right now, because we're getting into the biggest time of year for most people.
Right. So I appreciate you putting out the Christmas ads already. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're into Thanksgiving, we're into Christmas already, which is great. This is the Christmas time. So I guess when people are thinking about Christmas shopping, don't forget about Made in Corpus Christi. If you are in Corpus Christi, or I guess in reality, Nikki, somebody could order merchandise and have it shipped to somebody anywhere in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just going out there and shopping, just go online and have all your Christmas gifts to whoever, right? And
Yeah,
you know,
we do
people
it.
may even want to do that locally because people are probably not going to be getting together as much as they used to for Christmas holiday. So you may be getting a lot of orders just for that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and we'll take them. We love it, and we love being able to promote and help as many of those small business owners as we can. So
yeah, I think the thing for me is looking at, like, I still have this cookie. I'm probably never gonna eat it. I like saving one, and I love looking at all your merchandise because it has the logo of who made it, and it just makes me feel like this is somebody probably at her house, does not have a bakery, right? And what are the chances that she would get her merchandise in front of like as many people as she would, you know, without your support? So I would say, you know, the work that you're doing is really about connecting people and catalyzing the movement of Shop Local, and we appreciate you so much. So just to close things off, we're going to play a little game called Fast 5 Finger Favorites, and we're just going to ask you to give us your favorite recommendations of 5 things, okay? The first is, Nikki, what is your favorite book?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
That is a classic.
I mean, I don't know. It's always been. I've read a lot of books. That is always, it's always my go-to.
That's a good book too. What is your favorite movie?
Okay, I'm not a big movie. I mean, I watch a lot of movies, but can I give you TV? Got a couple of good TV ones. Okay. So Seinfeld, The Office, and have you seen Ted Lasso?
No.
On Apple TV? Oh, you have got to watch that. It's probably one of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Really? You're like all smiles about it, so I need to watch it. So what is it?
I love it.
Lasso.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Lasso.
It's like a very feel-good. Oh, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. What is your favorite song or music?
Anything by Alicia Keys. She's my favorite.
Like Goosebumps. And I'm like on this text thing, like you can subscribe to be like a texting fan of hers. Anyway, and she texts you, like, messages you, whatever. I am like, oh, she sends me messages in the morning about like,
oh, that's pretty cool.
Calls us loves. Anyway, addicted to Alicia Keys. Seriously. I shouldn't have told you all that. Can't explain all that. What's your favorite quote?
Okay, favorite quote. Oh, I'll see if I can get this right. Successful people don't worry about what other people are doing.
I like that, right? You're like, you're in your own lane.
Focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about what other people are doing. You're in your own lane. I like that. And the last Fast 5 Finger Favorites is Nikki. If you had the perfect day, if everything went perfectly, if there was no pandemic going on and money was not an issue, how would you wake up in the morning? What would your morning routine be?
I don't know what anything would be like without all of that right now. Like my head is so focused on kids and virtual learning and all of those things. But I would say if we didn't have to worry about those things, it would be probably getting up a little bit earlier than I would like, but that I love mornings. So maybe like around 6 o'clock in the morning, get up, get the family breakfast, definitely get coffee, and start looking at what needs to happen. So I'm not a good list maker. I'm not a good like long-term planner. It's usually wake up and try to figure out what can I get done and as much as I can during the day. But it's literally I'm stacked. So as much as I can get done as quickly as I can, and I just kind of run through it in my head. And by the time I'm done, it's usually time to go to bed.
And then, I mean, I know this is not part of the question, but Nikki, how do you stay so calm? Like, you have this presence about you that's just, I know you have a lot going on, right? So you have 2 kids. I think one of your kids has type 1 diabetes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she has insulin. Can you explain that to me? Because I think she wears like an insulin pump.
Yeah, she does. So she was diagnosed with that at 7 months old, which is super, super young. Like she was the only one in Corpus at that point when she was diagnosed. So yeah, so the doctors really like to see her and come around and try to keep her there. Yeah. But yeah, we spent a good amount of time at the PICU when she was little tiny, trying to figure it out. But she's 3.5 now, but we have to constantly monitor, everything that, her glucose numbers, and she has an insulin pump. So we're, trying to figure all of that out all the time and making sure that her numbers stay, in a good spot. But that makes it harder for us because our son, who is 6, is in 1st grade. We've decided to keep him home from school, so he's doing virtual learning, which just adds a whole nother layer of trying to organize, and kids running in meetings and jumping on the beds and screaming when you're doing presentations and you can't hit the mute button and all those things. I get it. Like I live that every day. So calm.
Oh my God.
So
it works though, because it's like you have 6, 3, and then you're home, right? Trying to work, and you have a business.
Yeah.
You're teaching. What else are you? Oh my gosh, Nikki, that's a lot. That is a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
And then, so
well,
how
thankfully,
do you feel like this?
I'm a total mess. Normally, like, I mean, people ask me that all the time. My husband Andrew just laughs because he's like, they have no idea. Like, they have no. I'm a mess, just like everybody else. Like, when you go home and when you close the computer and all of that. No, I think it just happens. You're in work mode, and then you go off, and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? This is just a mess, and this is gonna, you worry and frazzle and get up in the middle of the night worrying about things, and it's definitely not a lot of calmness at our house all the time, but it helps to kind of keep things somewhat in balance when it can, but it rarely happens, really.
Well, you and Andrew just have this perfect relationship. When I see you, both of you, you're so professional with each other, because you both have your businesses in the same location, pretty much. Like, he's on that side, you're on this side, and sometimes he comes in for consults, right? Like, can we do the decal? Yeah, we can do the decal, right? Like, he's so serious about it, he's not just casual about it, and then you're serious back with him, and I love it. Y'all have a really great relationship, and so, and I think that may be part of why you're a hero for us. I think there's just something about the way you live your life, your calmness, the way you speak, the way you communicate with everyone that you're around. I see you, Nikki. I watch you, the way you move with people, and it's really something to aspire for. And so having a person like you, a mentor like you, I guess, in our community, somebody who people can look at and say, wow, how about I be the best version of Nikki today, right? So she's calm, she's relaxed, even though maybe she's frazzled, she's calm and relaxed. And so, so thank you so much for just being who you are, having the family that you have in our community.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I wish we could do way more than we're doing right now, but to close things off, I want to ask you just one more question. Imagine yourself 5 to 10 years from now. What do you see?
Oh. I think I've been asking myself that question every 5 years, and I'm completely wrong with where I think I'm going to be. So I don't know, other than, gosh, my hope is that the businesses continue to be successful. My guess is that I'll have at least a couple new ventures that have happened in that time. And don't tell my husband that, because he just keeps adding to my list of titles and thinks that's pretty funny. But, I think that we'll probably be here, and we'll just be working with more people in the community, and hopefully on some new and exciting things, and bringing new life and continued life to projects around here to help make everything as good as it can be.
I love that. And just, I guess, keep making Corpus Christi strong, right? So keep making Corpus Christi going strong for us. I hope this store stays forever, because we need it, right? Anytime something's going on, I'm like, we need to get something from Made in Corpus Christi.
Well, hopefully. We have no plans to go anywhere anytime soon. And that's the good thing about it, is that there's so much new talent, and there's so many new ideas that can be brought in that it doesn't get stagnant, doesn't get stale, because there's just so many ideas. And I should say, part of the reason why I do keep calm is that I have 3 employees that help run my business during the week. So I don't have to be there. I'm not there all the time. I'm a phone call or a text away. But right. I mean, there's no way I could do it without those ladies helping me. Yeah,
your support system. Who I guess I've met one of them, but I guess I haven't met 2 new ones. Then maybe I haven't met them. But I look forward to meeting them one day. So how can people get in touch with you?
The easiest way is just either through our website. So we have a contact form on that, or through my email. So it's just Nikki at Made in Corpus Christi.
Fantastic. And so for all those of y'all who are watching, make sure If you want to find out more about Made in Corpus Christi, if you want to find out more about Nikki Riojas, visit her website, madeincorpuschristi.com. Nikki was celebrated today as our Power Up hero of small business, and her superpower is connection. And I'm sure for those of y'all who know Nikki, you know that is really and truly her superpower, because she's been able to connect us and navigate through this pandemic and still be able to connect us to our most, I guess you could say, inspired passions, right? So when somebody has a small business, they want to put it out there and share their gifts, and you're able to do that for us, and we appreciate you so much, Nikki. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. I'm just excited that we were able to finally get Nikki back so that we could wrap up the show, because yesterday it was all about resilience and all about making sure that we were able to bring her back with the technology working. If you want to find out more about this Power Up hero, Nikki Riojas, you can go to our podcast page, which is poweruphero.org. And do you know a role model in our community who deserves to be featured? And better yet, do you have a story that you want to tell? Visit our website, poweruphero.org. We want you on the show. We want your excitement, we want your energy, and we want your positive attitude and your commitment to being a hero in our community. Again, that website is poweruphero.org. I'm excited that you were able